unexpected truth about Queen Mary of Denmark and King Frederick's first visit. No one saw this coming. In the annals of royal history, the first official visit of a reigning monarch is typically a meticulously choreographed affair, a grand display of pomp and circumstance designed to cement the sovereign's position and solidify the nation's allegiance. But when Queen Mary of Denmark and her husband, King Frederick, embarked on their inaugural tour of the kingdom in the early days of their reign, the events that unfolded were anything but predictable. Beneath the veneer of regal splendor and ceremonial tradition, a remarkable story of vulnerability, compassion, and the power of genuine human connection was quietly unfolding, a story that would ultimately redefine the public's perception of the royal couple and the very nature of their rule. As the royal entourage made its way through the cobblestone streets of the capital city, the usual adoring crowds were notably absent, replaced by a palpable air of skepticism and uncertainty. The young queen, still finding her footing in the role, sensed the tension immediately, and in a move that shocked her advisors, she insisted on breaking away from the procession and venturing out onto the streets, alone and unguarded. It was an unprecedented decision, one that flew in the face of every protocol and tradition, recalled one bewildered courtier. We were all holding our collective breath, certain that the public would react with hostility or indifference. But as Queen Mary navigated the bustling byways, something extraordinary began to unfold. Rather than the expected jeers or indifference, the people of the city were captivated by the sight of their monarch, walking among them with an open and approachable demeanor, greeting each citizen she encountered with a warm smile and a genuine curiosity about their lives. In that moment, the tide began to turn, as the skepticism and distrust that had once colored the public's perception of the royal couple gave way to a newfound sense of admiration and affection. It was as if a veil had been lifted, and the people were seeing the true Mary for the first time, not the distant, unapproachable figure they had been led to expect, but a woman of compassion and empathy, someone who genuinely cared about the well-being of her subjects, observed one eyewitness. As the Queen's impromptu walkabout continued, the scene only grew more remarkable, with spontaneous acts of kindness and warmth erupting all around her. Elderly citizens who had once scoffed at the idea of a pampered royal, now eagerly pressed forward to offer her flowers and well wishes, while children broke free of their parents' grasp to clamor for the opportunity to shake her hand or receive a blessing. But the true pinnacle of the day's events came when the Queen encountered a young mother, struggling to soothe her crying infant in the midst of the bustling crowds. Without a moment's hesitation, Queen Mary approached the woman, offering a comforting smile and a gentle touch as she gently rocked the baby in her arms, whispering soft words of reassurance until the child's cries subsided. The image of the Queen, her regal bearing temporarily set aside in the face of a mother's distress, immediately captured the hearts and imaginations of the onlookers, who erupted into thunderous applause, their once skeptical faces now alight with a newfound reverence. It was a moment that seemed to transcend the boundaries of class and status, a reminder that beneath the trappings of royalty, the Queen was, at her core, simply a woman, a mother, and a fellow human being, remarked one observer, her eyes glistening with tears. In the days and weeks that followed, the story of Queen Mary's impromptu walkabout and her tender interaction with the young mother spread like wildfire, captivating the nation and transforming the public's perception of the royal couple. From that moment on, it was as if a veil had been lifted, and the people of Denmark were able to see the true heart and soul of their monarch, observed one royal historian. The once distant, unrelatable figure had been replaced by a woman of genuine warmth and compassion, someone who was not afraid to shed the formal mantle of royalty in order to connect with her subjects on a profoundly human level. And for King Frederick, the experience served as a powerful reminder of the true purpose of the monarchy, not merely to uphold tradition and maintain power, but to be a beacon of hope, a source of comfort, and an embodiment of the values that define the nation itself. As the royal couple's first official visit drew to a close, it was clear that their legacy had been forever altered, not by the grand displays of pomp and circumstance, but by the simple, spontaneous act of a queen who was willing to set aside her crown and embrace the humanity that lay at the heart of her role.